For me to make that phone call, it was really out of desperation. I finally got accepted. The support that I had there, they're incredible people. They had more confidence in me than I had in myself. They kept telling me all these incredible things they seen in me, and you know, I felt something different. I knew I can trust them. I just needed someone to care about me. And they felt like, I really felt like they cared. I started to see things and feel different. They put enough love into me, and I don't know, it inspired me. I just started to care about myself again. I'm 53 years old. I'm probably the strongest I've ever been in my life. And now I'm fitting in a healthy way. I became someone that anything I seen I wanted, I took. And I wasn't afraid of consequences. It got so bad where I stole from my mother and father. My first prison sentence, I was 19 years old, and the fear of prison was no longer there. I guess the most dramatic experience was when I got released. I came home thinking I was that big guy. And before you know it, I had guns and I had drugs, and I was the man. And I brought it to my home. And my sister had divorced and remarried some other guy by the time I got out of prison. And he seemed like a really decent dude until I noticed and heard he put his hands on my sister. Where I come from, you don't put your hands on a woman, never mind someone's sister or mother. And I dealt with it the way I thought I was supposed to. I went upstairs, I got a pistol, I came down and I started pistol whipping him. As I was pistol whipping him, I thought the gun was empty, but it wasn't. And the gun went off, and my sister was dead by the time she hit the floor. I turned myself in. I pled guilty, not to have a trial, and they gave me 8 to life. I just started to care about myself again. They have definitely set out a platform for me that no one else would have. You know, my arrest record alone closed the doors to all these places. But not with them. The door wasn't closed. They forget about that. You can't change that. That's gone. What are you going to do today that's going to, break that stifle? I actually went to a psychiatrist. I actually expressed myself and articulated the way I really feel, and I was honest with somebody for the first time. As honest as I thought I could be, because most of my life was a lie. I might have believed it, but it was a lie. That program allowed me, in a very short period, to grab hold of something. I needed something to grab hold of. And I latched on, it was me. And the more I started learning, the more I was intrigued, the more I wanted to know. That program is a platform designed for anyone to succeed. And decided that I was gonna get my own business, and I bought a pickup truck. It's called Caps. My dog's name is Capone. It's Caps and Company. A man and a dog, we do it all. And there's no turning back. And I want to continue to go and grow. And I hope every day I can make a difference in somebody's life, whether it's just putting a smile on their face.
It's one of those success stories we love. He hasn't been back before the justice system since he graduated quite some time ago now. He was an early graduate from the Community Treatment Court.
Dante came in, and he was a very unique individual, and is a very unique individual, and he's got a very open way about him.
I met him in cells, and I think I can say this with agreement, that Dante was in a state where he understood he needed to be in cells at that point. A circumstance had arisen that created a huge amount of anger and distrust, and we had to work through that. We were able to, and then the story of Dante began. He definitely started off in a situation of crisis, but he was, to his credit, he was at that stage where he was looking for help. And really that's what everybody wants to see as an individual, that I need to get out of this cycle. And so we had that to work with to start off with, and that's all to his credit.
It was inevitable that he was going to start accumulating the record that he did have. And when he got into the treatment court, he just blossomed. He accepted all the treatment. I know Matisha was his CMHA worker, and she just couldn't say enough good about Dante and about how hard he was trying and how well he was always doing. And he's always been sort of a poster boy for our court.
Community Treatment Court will work with any individual who has a charge within Halton Region, who is diagnosed with or has symptoms of a mental health issue. So we have lots of individuals who CMHA court support may be the first point of contact for them with someone in the mental health system. So an individual doesn't necessarily need to be undergoing care at the time. That may be one of the things that we're connecting them with. We also work with individuals who have a dual diagnosis, folks who have concurrent issues, so some substance use along with their mental health issue, people with acquired brain injuries. So we really serve a wide range of individuals in the Halton community.
It actually inspires me. In Dante's case, when he came to me as a client, he was already connected, and I felt, okay, well, you're pretty good. But then his question to me was, well, what else is there? Like, okay, let's do some research, let's sit down, let's figure out what other resources we can get connected. So it just inspires me, like, we don't need to stop at just what's required. We can always go the extra mile. When I first connected with Dante in court, made the referral for Community Treatment Court, assisted him with the legal aid referral, and the rest is history. So changes with Dante. Now I have to say his motivation throughout the whole process has remained consistently high. He is very hardworking. Recovery means everything to him. So that never changed throughout the whole process. However, when I first met Dante, he was living out of the shelter system. So comparing that to the very end when he had his own place, and then he had actually found full-time, well, it was part-time employment, but by choice he was working full-time hours. So a lot more stability, still very highly motivated, he's still working on his recovery, but just to see that groundwork is now there. He has employment, he has housing.
Some of the things that may be included in someone's recovery support plan would be some clinical type supports, maybe connecting with or maintaining contact with a psychiatrist or family doctor, following treatment recommendations, which could be medications, therapies, could be attending counseling of some sort, whether it's for substance use, trauma comes up quite a bit, things like that. We also include more holistic elements to someone's plan, so things like increasing their self-care. So thinking of clients I've worked with, it could be things like taking an art class or attending yoga or finding a way to sort of increase their own well-being. So we don't just focus on wellness in terms of a clinical medical model, we really look at other areas of someone's life. And then a big piece of everyone's plan is finding purpose and meaning. So whether that is employment, volunteering, school, whatever it may be that gives someone a purpose and a reason to get out of bed every day and participate in the community, that's also a big part of most people's plans.
This program, that court support program, I mean, it's incredible. I really couldn't appreciate it then because at that particular time, I was just doing what I was told. Go sit in the courtroom. Yes, yes, ma'am. Go sit. Yes, ma'am. I just doing what I was told. Then before you know it, hey, when's the next date? I wanted to go. I wanted to be involved. But this program has that. It has the ability to say, pay attention, because this is real. And they caught my attention, and it's getting better and better.
Dante stood out from the very beginning. I do recall his first appearance in court. He seemed agitated, he seemed nervous, seemed on edge. The CMHA workers put in a lot of work with Dante. He wasn't exactly sure what the process entailed, and then 6 months later, it's a completely different person. He's coming in, he's smiling, he's relaxed, he's sitting there in court with his hands behind his back, he's chatting with the court staff, you know, he's chatting with the other lawyers, he's made friends out in the hallway, you know, he's saying good morning, Mr. Bradley, every morning, and in just 6 months, he was a complete 180 from nervous wreck, as I'd put it, nervous, irritable wreck to Mr. Social Butterfly, you know, the sort of light of the room. So that was the change I saw in Dante in the time he was in the community treatment court.
Well, there's the typical defense counsel support of, you know, we're going to run a bail hearing and get you out of jail, and then we're going to read the disclosure and figure out what we can work with and whether we go to trial or whether we do a guilty plea or what have you. That was there, but with Dante there was a lot of discussion and a lot of talking about, you know, what's gone on in your past, where do you want to be, what are the problems that you see going forward, and is there anything that you can think of to keep you from coming back? Because Dante had a big record. He had a big record, and he'd been through the mill of the criminal justice system of, I get charged, I go before a court, I either plead guilty or I'm found guilty, I get a sentence, I serve some time in jail, I get on probation. The probation terms aren't really well thought of, and there's no supports in regards to those conditions. I end up getting a breach, and the cycle continues over and over and over again, and the probation never ends. So that leads to a distrust. So I think some of the supports we provided Dante were building trust, providing options, exposing him to some different possibilities. But really it's trying to build that trust. And what Dante was able to do, I think the most important thing was build up his self-esteem. If you've got confidence in yourself, I think you can build trust in others, and you're able to see a little bit more clearly when people are trying to help you versus trying to drag you down. And those differences, starting with Dante and finishing with Dante.
During Dante's graduation, he was very happy. As we were all, he'd achieved so much, we were so proud of him, and I could feel his energy just sitting next to him, and it was definitely an emotional time. He was tearing up, I was tearing up. He told his whole background story, and I have to say he captivated the whole courtroom. It was so quiet in there, everybody was listening. Just to think where we began from and to now, how many steps Dante has taken and how much he's achieved, I'm just so proud of him, I'm in awe of him. He's inspired me in so many ways, and he's just so hardworking.
This is life, it's real. Whatever you're doing, whatever I was doing, whatever you're doing, you're gonna continue to do, unless you yourself allow someone to show you something different. Because if you close the door, chances are no one else is gonna open it. Because every other door I went to was closed. So my advice is to listen. Shut your mouth, listen. You wanna change? Learn. You hear? You wanna let your guard down, you can do it. There's no judgment here. You don't feel it. If you allow yourself an opportunity to just think for a minute, you'll see and you'll feel yourself. I was given an opportunity and I took advantage of it. Listen, shut up and listen. I enjoy what I'm doing today, I really do. You know, I never felt comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable today.